Huh. What's up, guys? Anything at all? I'm just killing time for fun. It's my name, killing time. So if you guys got any question, I will gladly able to hear it. I'd be happy. So, got any questions or anything, or anything you want to say? Put in the chat, and I'll be glad to hear it for you guys. Thank you.
Choose which of the cars is best. Yes, I prefer the Merc, definitely. I know that the late James May preferred the Rolls Royce. He made that very clear. And as the Bentley is plainly rubbish, I think you have the casting vote. If you were a leading light of the Albanian Mafia, which car would you buy?
Well, if I was a leading light in the Albanian Mafia, I wouldn't buy either of them.
Yes, okay, which do you prefer?
I'm minded to say the Rolls Royce. But the problem is, if you have one of these, one day you will pull up at a set of lights, and alongside will slide Simon Cowell in his bigger Phantom, and he'll go.
I know what you mean. Because be honest, you would only buy the Ghost because you couldn't afford the Phantom.
I know, because I don't want that, I'd have the Mercedes.
Yes.
It's not really a bombshell, is it? James's death is a bombshell.
That's inconvenient.
Yes, that's true. So on that inconvenience, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Good night.
Listen, guys, what do you want to say? Just tell me. I was surprised to look at my inbox this morning. A couple hours ago, I was a couple hours ago, in my inbox, and I could not believe my inbox was filled with this surprise number. So I'm happy to see what that number was. That number was a big number. And tomorrow, I'm going to be so happy to do what I really want to do tomorrow. But my inbox had a digit that I had to refresh it twice on my phone and the computer to make sure that number was right. And I don't think it is right. So I'm going to check my phone again one time to make sure it's right. Because if it's right, then I know that I'm must be dreaming. And I'm a crazy person because I don't think it's true. Because my inbox told me that we had something I don't believe it was true, though. I think it's no longer true. It still is true. And I am double checking this again. It is true. I'm going crazy to find out this is true.
What's that? Boadicea conquered the entire Roman army.
Today I was watching Good Mythical Morning today, and Josh had his kitchen open. Josh has a kitchen now. 6 hours ago, a person from Europe or Asia, I can't really tell you where, because I don't really know, started my channel. So now we have 140 people. Now, we have a person from the, not to be rude, like around the Soviet Union area, or somewhere around there that speaks that language. So yeah, we got people from different countries. We have people from Russia or the Ukraine or anywhere around there who speak Russian or Ukrainian. I'm not really sure because when I took Russian in school, I took it for about 6 months, and I was the person that took the class. The teacher was surprised that a person like me was done taking the class. So after 6 months, I had to quit taking the class because he was done. He retired. Because I was the only person taking the class in school. He was surprised I took the class. So, hey. And here's fair why I did it for him. So I got some code and don't piss me off.
Your black dot boys are here. Yeah. No, wait. The police.
Yeah, well, the police are coming. The police? The police are here. No, you saw me coming, didn't you? Straight away, mate. But one of the biggest problems the police face, trying to get somebody out of the way with blues and twos on. I've got a lot of blues and twos. They will see me coming.
Well, we got to ask, okay?
Yeah. You noticed that?
So, yeah.
It's genius.
It's cool that we got someone from Russia on the channel now. That's pretty cool. Like I said, starting Wednesdays and Fridays. We may not be doing any more videos on Wednesdays.
Stop very quickly and then...
Let me phrase that. We might do videos on Wednesdays, but I'm not really sure if we're going to do videos on Wednesdays. Due to me, I work now on Wednesdays at a local place. So I don't know about that. But most of the time, I'll still be doing videos. But I don't know if that will happen or not, because also I'll be working on Fridays too, so who knows? Our schedule might be changed in those 2 days. A little bit. But, yeah. Anything else you going to say, tell me and I'll answer it for you. I don't think we have a person. No.
3, 2, 1. He's proceeding in a westerly direction.
Honestly, giving the British police cars like that to save money is the same as the Queen saying, well, changing the guard, they can all wear private. Here comes the British Army, they're wearing beach towels because...
I say, you guys have questions, but I'll be glad to be able to answer it. I mean, I'm surprised how high the channel actually has grown so far over the years. I'm happy it's growing. I'm happy that we're up to how high we are in channel and videos. And I'm happy about doing YouTube. I mean, September 23rd of this year will be our 3rd year on YouTube. September of this year. Like September or October of this year will be our biggest year ever. And also something bad happened. Also, when the channel came out, a few hours later, something else happened too, which I don't want to talk about because that was a sad part about this channel. When this channel started, 24 hours later, something bad happened in Vegas, and that's all I'm going to say, due to legal reasons. And everyone is now happy that some stuff that has happened in the past few years is now taken care of. I was watching TV the other day, and I saw something I was happy to see. Cannot believe it happened, though. Everything is now back to normal. Everything is good, and everything is practically the way it was. I mean, everything's practically back together. Some things I found out happened after that one thing happened. That place is now closed down due to a sickness problem happening, which I'm kind of getting the sick. I got the shivers when I found out that place shut down. But that was something that happened months ago, even a few years ago. Almost 5 years ago it happened, which, if you're like me, you're thinking, wow, it happened finally, shut it down. But, man, you gotta think, though, they kind of shut down they shut down for also being a memorial to what happened a couple years ago, but, oh well. And if you guys have any questions or something, I'd be gladly able to answer for you guys. Like, if I'm doing a nerd game series or something you guys want to hear about, just tell me and I'll answer it for you. If you want to do a nerd game series, I'll do it for you. If you have a thing you want to ask me, I will do it for you. So, yeah. If there's anything you guys want to ask me, I'll take care of it for you guys. Thank you, Ben. Like I said, if you guys want me to do anything for you guys, all you do is ask, and I'll do it for you. 6:40 or 12:40 a.m. They still do these on the radios, guys, but they'll do it once a month now. This is the test of the emergency broadcast system. Broadcasters in your area and voluntary cooperation with the FCC, local authorities, and the system to keep you informed. From WZRA, New Jersey. From WDVX, don't know what channel that is. I just made that channel up, I think. Now, I was watching something the other day about Canada, and Canadians. Now, and I have some of those people, around the world. I'm like one of those guys like the emergency broadcast system, like those tunes, like those styles. I think they're pretty neat, but there's actually one. I mean, the worst country has the worst. I mean, I have seen. I mean, if you watch the archives, Ben, who does stuff, the guy in the box does all these stuff, which I think he says some of them are pretty neat. Like me, I think they're pretty neat too. I mean, some of what you do are pretty. Like the cyclone warnings are crazy in New Zealand. They don't even have one. Too loose for me. But yeah, I mean, if you're like me and Ben, we try to keep it. I mean, Ben does searching. I actually like to talk to him in person these days, if it's possible, because I need to ask about something that kind of needs to make sense here. I was doing some digging into something back in 1987 about something he showed, and noticed something odd. Why wasn't Chicago's ABC affiliate Channel 7 attacked? Because they use the same thing that WTTW or WGN uses for a transmitter. PBS or WGN uses the Sears Tower, like they use Channel 7 does. But where does Fox 32 get? I mean, according to what I found out, that's at least used sort of transmitter. I don't know if that's kind of true or not, but I heard that someone told me that they use Channel 7 as a transmitter. Now, that thing has never been caught. No one has ever been caught for that one. Neither has the Valerian incident back in the 70s. It's kind of weird, though, okay? There's Valerian, what happened in the late 70s, which back then, having a TV station would have to be pretty damn hard to do. Because I don't think you could hack a TV station back in 1977. Well, technically, you say that you had a DeLorean back in time, and this right here, like a basic computer, you could maybe hack a TV station from 1977 pretty easily. But back in 1977, you couldn't do that. I mean, hacking a radio station had to be hard to do too. I mean, you had to be from the 80s. I mean, the 1980s. Okay, 1980s. Yeah, you could do it because it'd be easier to do. 1980s with the computers, with the technology to do it. But 1977, computers were big as this room, even bigger than this room. Look at this. This is my bedroom and my office. This room is pretty big. This room is the biggest room in the house, besides the basement. In this room, how big a computer be? If you've ever seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original, you would know that's how big the size of computers are. And now computers are about the size of your cell. I mean, back in 1977, your computer was about the size of this room. Now your computer's about the size of your smartphone. Or I say your smart. Wait, that's not smart. Here's my smartphone. Here's my first smartphone I ever owned. This is my first smartphone. This thing weighs more than my new smartphone weighs. Okay, this is a Hachi. This is an LG Phoenix 3. This is my first cell phone. This is actually my second cell phone I ever owned. This screen is 6 inches long. And hello. Yes, I'd like to make an order for pizza. And you gotta think here, though. I still have a landline that I don't use as much, but I still have it for fun. But this thing is heavy. This thing weighs about a pound here. But the thing is that when it fits in your pants, it's pretty good. So when I got rid of this phone, I still have this phone because I have some stuff in here that I can use. But I can't get anything else done with this. But someone asked me the other day I just do this for fun, guys. I mean, Canada has one of the weirdest systems ever. Like when I first heard, I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. And trust me, Canada has a weird one because it goes like Canada is just as bad as J Alert. J Alert's worse though because they have that. J Alert sounds like popcorn in Japan. J Alert sounds like popcorn, but Canadian one I think is pretty good. It sounds kind of like ours a little bit, but it goes ding. It goes like kind of goes like a police siren from the UK or a different country, but not Canadian. Canadians just because I found that Canada uses the same siren we use because we're just like Canada's just like America. It's just colder in Canada than it is here in certain parts of the U.S. Wait, play. Okay, it looks like we're having some mechanical problems here. Tablet's falling apart. I mean, this tablet's pretty old, so after a few years, it falls apart. I mean, I keep my old equipment as long as it works. If the tablet stops charging, then I'm gonna delete everything on it, get me a new tablet. But I like this tablet because it does what I need to do. Somebody asked me, what about an Apple? I don't want no Apple tablet. They're too dang big. Okay. If you're going to give me a tablet, if someone give me an Apple tablet or give me an AI tablet, and I think it works, I'll use it. But most of the time, I don't use tablets that much. I mean, I use tablets for certain work things. Like if I'm playing a game, I use a tablet so you guys can see. But I'm trying to think if we face the tab altogether. I mean, the tab works better than my cell phone, but my eyes are getting worse every day. But yeah, okay. You see here, Canada 47. History. I mean, I need a keyboard for this. It doesn't even work for this tablet anymore because it's Bluetooth. It drains the battery, and so, yeah. So that's ZBS for Canada.
This is the Alberta Emergency Public Warning System. The following emergency bulletin may affect your area. Listen carefully.
This is a demonstration of the Alberta Emergency Public Warning System's on-air presentation. The system may be activated by local disaster officials, provincial flood forecasters, or severe weather staff at Environment Canada, and may be carried on all radio, television, and cable stations in the currently active broadcast regions. A warning transmitted over the system can be announced in less than 1 minute by local broadcasters who have agreed to transmit the message using the system.
Okay, that one is not available. Some of these are actually not available for the US, so this is from 2002, guys. This is from May 2002. This is before YouTube came out, so I'm surprised this even exists. See, that's different sounding. This one's black. Now, Canada sounds weird. I mean, have you ever seen? Have you guys ever see the prank ones where they do the prank ones in the U.S.? The prank Canadian one I saw the other day was pretty cool because it was a fake nuke warning, and this guy, I don't know who did had a radio work perfectly to speak in English and French. In Canada, French, and mostly in Quebec. Here, I speak English. I learned Russian a little bit. I'm still learning Russian. A few Russian books around here somewhere. I don't know where they are right this minute, but still learning Russian. I still have a Russian dictionary around here somewhere. That's not it. Oh, here it is. Have a Russian dictionary right here. I'm still learning Russian a little bit, but I don't speak Russian on here for one reason. I'm not used to because there's no Russians on the shit. I mean, there's no use to because I don't want to get yelled at from YouTube or other people saying, speak English. You don't understand gibberish. Which, no offense to the Russians. I like the Russians. I cannot believe I actually tried Russian vodka the other day. That stuff has a kick. I'm going to tell you now. And I don't drink, okay? Someone told me they got some Russian vodka. They said, here, try this. That's how stronger than French crap I drank last 2 years ago for Christmas. But, okay, you see here. P-R-A prank on RADDIO prank call radio station? Never seen that before. How am I seeing this one? I have never seen this guy, so I don't know.
104.7 Kiss FM, Super Snake.
That's around here.
Going down today. Crazy yesterday.
Kiss FM.
Continued to stay crazy
Kiss
today.
FM's around here.
I tell you, the
wow.
world famous I Knew You Was a Snake. It's an international show, folks.
Kiss FM's actually around here, guys. Actually, I know where Kiss FM actually is. It's somewhere around here, actually. It's upstate or it's in Indiana. It's around here. It's in Michigan or it's in Indiana. I do not for a fact. I have heard Kiss FM before the other day a while back on the radio. It's in Indiana or it's in Michigan. I'm not actually sure where it is, but I have heard Kiss FM before a few times on the radio. It's in Michigan or it's in Indiana. Heck, you mean Ohio, I know, but I don't know where it is exactly. But
we take it all
around
over
here.
The country, and I believe her name is Jasmine, right? Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi.
Okay, so tell us, talk to us. What's the deal?
Well, you know, the show is about the snake show, and I think my husband may be a snake. But
oh, that show? Okay. Oh, I heard that. Oh, yeah, that one sucked. Crunchyroll. I don't watch Crunchyroll or Cannonball. It's there. Canada radio prank. Here it comes. Thing is though, one, if you live in Canada, you can do this, but here in the US, you can't like do it that much. I mean, if you're gonna prank your friend, I understand, but here in the US, you can't do that. That's actually illegal to do. I mean, okay, I'm gonna try this again. I have to reset the tab. Here in the US, you should not do that. I mean, if you're gonna prank call a bar like Moe's Tavern, who gives a care? But if you're actually gonna prank a radio station or a television station, please don't. A friend of mine actually tried pranking the weather bureau, and guess what happened? He thought he saw some gross. You know, started falling. Yeah, something started falling on his head. Rain. Thought it was hail. Next thing we find out, actually, hell was falling. He called the radio station. Said, "There's no hell in your area." Well, I see it. Well, he even called. He even called the TV station and reported. TV station, "There's no hell in your area." Yes, there is. There's hell right now where we are, right from my front door. And this is about 3 years ago, like over 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago. And I was with him. I was over at his house, or he was over at my house. We were talking about something, and I forget what we were talking about. Next one sees, and the front door open because, it was nice out. Got a little dark. Okay, it's just gonna rain. What's that ice stuff? Oh, that's hail. Oh, that's not bad, is it? Now I'm calling the TV station. I called TV and reported it. So yeah. But chance of that ever happen again is, if you get hail in your area, they're supposed to call your local law enforcement or something like that. I don't want that. So yeah, we'll be how long as you guys want to be on for. I can be on for 6. I can be up to 6 hours. I heard. I don't know how long I'm going to stay on for, but I'm going to stay as long as I want. So if you guys have a question, ask me. So here we go. Canadian nuke prank radio. Okay, that'll be a proper term to call. I need to save this from the channel because this is a good. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, I'm gonna like this video if I didn't like it, and put it somewhere.
I'm Mariceli, and I am.
I'll put this on my EBS channel. I'll put this on my EBS. Okay. Okay. Do not save it. Okay. I'll put this video on my EBS, which I would never do this, but technically I like this one, so it's going to go on my EBS, guys. Okay. I just like this, so I'm going to put it on my EBS. I'm going to put it on my EBS category. So I don't know how to put links on the channel to do it, but yeah. I think it's an Amber Alert. Thanks, Amber Alert.
This is a national emergency. Important details will follow. Un message en français suivra.
Okay, I usually don't do this, but I put this on our EBS playlist so you guys can see it because I like this one. This one's pretty neat.
This is not a test. A nuclear attack is occurring against Canada and the United States of America. 6 nuclear missiles have been launched from unknown locations and are expected to strike Canada and the United States within the next 15 to 25 minutes. Due to the uncertain effects of these missiles, all Canadian residents should seek fallout shelter immediately. Members of the Canadian Armed Forces directly.
I'll be back in a second here. I need to do something real quick. I'll be back in a second. Okay, thanks. Before I tell you guys something, okay, if there was an actual national disaster here, I'd be dead, practically. Because if it hit Chicago, Detroit, I'd be dead. Because Chicago and Detroit is about a 2.5 to 2 hour drive here by car. Either way. If it went east, it'd be Detroit, 2.5 hours. Went to Chicago, 2.5 hours west. Well, what about Indianapolis? You know that far close to that? Technically, I live about 300 miles from Indianapolis. Indianapolis is like 300 miles south of here, but still, I live pretty close to Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, all the big South Bend, about 80 miles from South Bend, about 100 miles from the capital, Lansing. Someone said, Tyler, you would survive. What about if they hit Chicago? You survive, right? No, I would not. I'd be part of the fallout. Because it's a 400 to 500 mile radius. Trust me, I don't think I would survive. I think I'd put a gun in my mouth I'd be dead anyways from radiation poisoning. Better being in Mexico. Besides, if ever like day after tomorrow happened, I'm heading straight to Texas. I'm heading straight down to Texas.
If no such shelter exists in your area, get as far underground as possible. Stay away from windows.
I'll be fine. Maybe there's no windows. Unless one window is the door to get out.
You should get together a basic survival kit, including a flashlight and a regular battery-operated radio for use during your stay.
I do have radios on here. I got batteries. Got a radio right there. I got batteries right here, so I'll be fine. I'm back in a minute to my radio.
Get over here. Right now.
I have this radio right here. And I got more radios right here than anything else. I might keep this on for a few days, guys. On the playlist, but I might remove this from my playlist in a few days. Now it's in French, which I don't speak French. Basement would be fine.
This is a national emergency. Important details will follow.
We'll be fine, guys. I mean, technically we'd be fine because we have a basement and we have tons of other stuff.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Canadian government.
Are you coming in?
A terror attack is occurring against Canada and the United States of America. 6 nuclear missiles have been launched from unknown locations and are expected to strike Canada and the United States within 15 to 25 minutes. Due to the uncertain impacts of these missiles, all Canadian residents should seek out a fallout shelter immediately. If members of the Canadian Armed Forces direct you to a fallout shelter, please follow them to your safety. If no such shelter exists in your area, get as far underground as possible.
What did she
Stay
say?
away from windows. Using everyday household items, put as many walls and layers between you and the outside world as possible. You should get together a basic survival kit, including a flashlight and a regular battery-operated radio for use during your stay in the shelter. Stay tuned to
We're not gonna stand in the living room and.
Nice house. So, yeah, well, the thing is, though, we know that problem here in Michigan because how you already gone, though.
See anything on your phone?
This is nice.
There's no matter what, we're not safe anywhere we are because the windows.
What about the crawl space? The cold storage.
Just safe this fall would be
Cold storage.
But it's not that safe because it's such a thin layer. It's a fucking dude. Like you can't defend that.
I know.
Unless you have an actual bomb shelter thing.
We're fine.
Can we not take out the?
So maybe it's not around here though.
Can we not take out the cold storage? Well, can we not?
We have 15 minutes.
What is wrong with this world? Like,
What did it say though?
Wait, they have TV right to turn it on. Hi, just killing time. What's up? Just killing time. Just watching these guys prank someone, and that's it. I'm just killing time, guys. I'm in a little bit of pain. Not doing much. Hi. So, what's up?
The only time I heard this before was when there was a tornado.
Well, we heard that.
There was Amber alerts, there's weather alerts, it's pretty much a bit of everything. But
Yeah, just killing time. It's Monday. There's nothing really on TV today.
Get down here.
The game show I like watching is off right now. There's nothing actually on at all today. I might as well watch. Who knows? Nothing.
15 minutes.
15 to 25 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes is what they're expecting. Yeah, they'll ship them up here.
I'll be fine. I don't care.
I didn't actually even get over to this.
Well, wait, you bring stuff down here? Because it's the fucking government.
Well, I don't have anything to bring down. Where are we going to hide? Under the stairs?
I got a beer.
That's stupid. A beer will not protect your life. What is the topic talking about? Nothing. We're just goofing off. That's all that's all we're doing today. Or talk about prank videos. You know, talk about prank videos like this guy from Canada pranked his whole family and some of his friends, thinking there was a nuclear attack in Canada. And we're just talking about what we want to talk about. You know, not really nothing. I mean, I'm just goofing off. Actually, that's why it says "What's up?" because I have nothing to talk about. Just odd stuff, you know, odd stuff. ODD, already archives. Just talk about weird. Just talk about anything you want to talk about. I'm not doing a game right now, so it could be anything you want to talk about. So anything. I'm a little bit of pain right now, so I'm trying to, you know, do less stuff as I can right now. Because he came back from the dentist, and that's about it. Just killing time, actually. Just here. Okay, event commentary. Oh, that's too far. I want this one. So it could be anything we're talking about. Right now, we're kind of like talking about radio and TV right now. So we're talking a little bit about radio and technology.
And that includes a good hearty breakfast.
Yeet! That's funny. What the heck does that yet mean? I don't even know. Oh, close enough. So yeah, we're just talking about EBS. That's about it. So you want to talk about something, you say, you can talk about anything. So you got an idea for something, just ask me and I'll answer it. Because our schedule will be changing soon, guys. Starting Wednesday, we will be changing our schedule a lot. Starting Wednesdays, I might be doing no more videos on Wednesdays due to me going to work. My boss is a little bit of a nice guy. He just told me, hey, we're changing your schedule around. The person that worked during the week quit working. My work schedule. I got a job coming in. I have to go to work schedule. So YouTube schedule is going to be changed a little bit. I tried doing YouTube videos, a couple videos a day. Due to my work schedule has got changed, I'm now going to be working on Wednesdays and Fridays, and something else is happening too. I might be going to college. So yeah, we might have a little bit of a schedule change. I'm going to the college tomorrow and see if I can even get in. Because if I get in, then my buddy will be so happy to hear it that I got admitted to the college. Because he knows the college I'm talking about, a college that it's hard to get into. Especially for people like, those tests, I passed the test. I have to go there tomorrow morning and go to the branch office tomorrow morning over there and see if I... What the heck is that? I hope that's not a crack because I don't have no more time for this to break. So yeah, about that, but yeah. So my YouTube schedule is going to be changed a little bit, but I've been wondering what the letters are. The letters are code numbers for me. Someone's trying to piss me. Can we talk about? Sure, talk about it. Ask me a question. And if you ever ask a question, yeah, I do had a Nintendo one time. I had a Nintendo Advance, a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy Advance at one time I had. Well, sure, just talk about anything you want to talk about. Like how Nintendo had the very first VR game back in 1995. Yeah, that was the problem. Those were bad for your eyes. But yeah, we can talk about anything you want to talk about. I'm all right with it. I'm good with it. Just what we want to talk about. Tell me, we'll talk about it. You own the channel. You can tell me what you want to ask me, and I'll answer it for you. I mean, like, I know how long Nintendo's been around for. Nintendo's been around since 1899. The games didn't come out until, I know games didn't come out until like the mid-60s, 2000s, I mean, mid-60s, 70s. But when it first came out, it was actually, back then Nintendo made cards till who knows how long. First game came out was in the 60s, it was called Pong. Then Pac-Man and all that other good stuff. But, yeah. Like, Nintendo's pretty good. I mean, games off my head. Donkey Kong. And what else do they call it? Mario. I actually had played Mario before when I was younger on Nintendo 64 at a friend's house. He told me, and we always played one of the games that they had. Okay, I mean, like I said, you can tell me what you want to do and talk about it. I mean, like I said, you have to have dinner or something. Again, wow. Like I said, if you gotta go, don't worry, I can do another video later on something else. But he's killing time. Where is it? Wait, Ray, please tell me you're not doing that again, Ray. My friend Ray's trying to. That does not work, Ray. You used it on me. My face turned all purple for a couple hours. My friend Ray's trying to. I'm gonna plaster my little brother's face. Ray, you tried it on me. It didn't work. No, not really. I mean, I know a little bit, but Nintendo, but not really. I mean, did you know the... No, I mean, I have seen Mario. I played a little bit about Mario.
It's me, Mario. It's me, Mario. Woohoo! Let's go. Okie dokie. I've been the voice of Mario for 26 years.
I'm moving on to Luigi.
Now moving on to Louis. Oh.
No way. Ooh.
I am Charles Martinet. I do the voice.
Charles Martinet did the voice of Mario.
Here we go. And Luigi too. Luigi number one. And Wario, hamburger today. Yahoo! You gonna eat that garlic?
That's this guy does Mario.
I am an actor and voice actor. I did.
No, he does the voice of Mario, Luigi, and him. Yeah.
It's me, Mario. It's me, Mario. Woohoo! Let's go. Okie dokie. I've been the voice of Mario for 26 years.
Now moving on to Luigi.
Now moving on to Louis. Oh. I am Charles Martinet. I do the voice of Super Mario. Here we go. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, for over 25 years.
And I was even Donkey Kong one point.
He did that. He's been Mario for over 26 years now.
25 years of theater and corporate videos, circuitry.
So he's been doing work for over 20. He's been
film and television products.
He's been doing work for over 30 years. So yeah.
I had the marvelous beginning of becoming a voice actor, and that's how I started with It's me,
Bye.
Mario. Mario was first created in 1981 in a game called Donkey Kong. As it got refined through the years, it became Mario.
So guys, like I said, our friend Isaac had to leave. But stay on, guys. Talk about what we were talking about.
I actually crashed an audition because I was catching them as if I walked in, they were walking out, finished for the day. I said, "Can I read for this?" And the guy looked at his watch and he goes, "All right, come on in. You're an Italian plumber from Brooklyn, a character in a video game for Nintendo called Mario. So make up a voice, make up a video game, start talking." And I thought to myself, video game? I don't know anything about video games. And all of a sudden I hear action. I go, "Hello, I'm a Mario. Let's make a pizza pie together. You will get some sausage. I'm going to get some spaghetti. We put spaghetti in the sausage and pizza." And he said, "God, stop
you put
talking.
spaghetti in pizza? That sounds gross."
"All right, thanks. We'll be in touch." And I thought that was, okay, there's the door. We'll see you later. And he calls Nintendo. I found a Mario. I got him. And that was 26 amazing, fantastic years ago.
You see when this is published. When was this published?
Hello.
26 years ago, I said, right?
Oh, look at it.
26. Let's see here, 26. almost 30 years ago. This was published back in 2007. So this is this is 30 years ago almost when he got the job back in 30 years ago.
The character for me brings out the best in me, and so I love that. Bring, bring, bring. I love sharing things too. I go to meet Mario fans, and I hear the most wonderful thing. You're the voice of my childhood. Or I used to play with my dad. Now I'm playing with my kids. And it's the way our family comes together. Pretty good. This brings back the memories. Mamma mia. You just have fun, That's my mantra for life. Come on, let's go. Let's have more fun. Bye-bye. See you in my games. Woohoo!
I mean, that's pretty cool, though, but doing voice acting for over that many years is pretty cool. Even Spy Kids' Machete has even been in video games before, which is pretty cool. And I'm just telling you guys right now, video games are pretty cool games. Yes, he also did Little Mario too. So yeah, he also did Mini Mario 2 over the years too. I mean, he did every single thing you think of. Right now he's gone, but still, like I said, I would never want to. Like I said, doing that stuff's gonna be hard to do, guys. And I know some reviewers will laugh now, but I really don't care. Like I said, just for fun, anyways. But Al Bundy. I sell shoes. I drink. I hate my life. I hate my wife. Blah blah blah.
There we are. Anyway, where was I? Okay, I'm gonna come flat out and say it. This episode won't make any sense without some backstory. Meaning you're gonna have to sit through one of my history lessons first. I'm sorry. I'll try and keep it brief.
Yay!
All the way back to the late 40s, there had been a few markets with quote-unquote.
I like watching him because I like watching Ben because he's hilarious.
As a means for people living in valleys and remote areas where decent TV reception was hard to come by.
So, guess around the 40s?
The purpose of this cable was so you could watch TV. Simple as that. Fast forward to 1965 and Time Life, the people that make those soft hits of the 70s.
Back in a second.
Became a partner in
I gotta get our sponsor. I'll be right back in a second. Now, where did I put that sponsor I had? It's in the room. Which one? I'm still alive. I still want to be back in a second. This is starting to hurt a little bad. I can't make it anymore. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm back now. Had to get myself. I had to get me some. I found where my payment. Find some of my payments in it. It looks like so. I found it, so I had to take one. Because that stuff hurts. Trust me, this is hurting bad, and I don't know what the dentist did to me. He didn't do stuff to me at all. He just made my pain worse. Do the dentist have to drink out of a straw now with my sponsor drink. Red soda, red straw. Those weren't even. I had these straws for years now. Some of them are kicking dust, but I really don't care. Gets more, wipe them off. Blah blah. Easy to use. I'm joking. They're not dirty. Green Bay Wacky. I'm not watching you anymore because you are a nut. Besides, everybody's kicked me out of your channel, so I don't even go back on.
Cable, helping offer Lower Manhattan only one of these early cable TV services. As I implied, there were no cable networks yet. By way of the Sterling Manhattan Partnership, Type had been an investor in a proposed exclusively for pay which never materialized.
For HBO.
By 1972, the Green Channel home box office
HBO.
Yes, that HBO. It premiered on November 8th of that year and was only available in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. From there, everything spread. New networks like TBS were added, and by the end of the decade, cable TV as we know it had begun in many places. However, some major markets like LA and Chicago held out on allowing such a thing, citing a fear of monopolies. Or maybe it was just local politics. Anyway, this brings us to today's topic. I think that's a record for longest intro. Anyway, non-cable or satellite, pay TV. These holdout markets relied on, save for Chicago, more on that later, single-channel HBO-style pay TV services such as Preview, Spectrum, and most famously On TV, which existed from 1977 to 1985.
On TV?
On TV closed when Chicago, the last major city in the U.S. without regular cable, finally buckled and allowed standard cable TV. The idea of these types of channels was to partially buy out an existing, usually high-numbered UHF station, and for part of each day, i.e. afternoons and nights, air a variety of movies, sports, music, and, yes, pornography. Seems to be a recurring theme around here. Anyway, with your subscription, you'd receive a very simple descrambler box. Perhaps too simple. The box had a single switch on it with two settings, on and off. And that was it. This led to the biggest problem with these services, piracy. Any viewers illegally using other decoders will see and hear this. It didn't take long for electronics geeks to figure out that these early descrambler boxes were shockingly primitive. To scramble a TV signal, all the broadcaster had to do was introduce a 15 Hz sine wave into the video signal, which caused TVs to lose their grip on the picture.
I can do that too with the radio.
The audio signal for added protection. But at its heart, all
scrambler
boxes
this has 84.
Rogue frequency. That's it. With a little know-how and a few cheap parts from Radio Shack, folks were able to receive the pay TV signals for free. More enterprising pirates sold their homemade boxes.
Even I can do it.
What amounted to a few months' subscription with no further costs. By the time
I could even do
anyone
it.
to fight the pirates, we're talking 1984 here, Chicago was the only major town left that hadn't started allowing normal cable TV. Nonetheless, On TV added an additional layer of encryption to their broadcasts, which caused homemade descramblers to play broadcasted alarm noises and legal warnings.
Let me try that stuff for you. That's a little tape recorder. Excuse me. Note to self. Note to self. Make things happen. Make sure giving whoever likes my channel a thumbs up, and also remember to see if you can do what to and also find a way to get to do that one thing with IS612.
About a year later, the city of Chicago
Also remember to tell who about the what and how happy you are that she's gone.
In May of 1985. There were a couple of markets with cable pay TV services, but the pay TV services simply couldn't hold on.
I
By the
wonder.
end of 1985, pay TV was largely over. Only one carrier lasted beyond 1985, and that's Select TV, which covered Sacramento, California. Although Sacramento belatedly got cable in 1987, Select TV somehow lasted until 1991. For a single channel of cable TV,
I can't believe how nice I am.
expensive.
You see what's on here, shall we?
$20 per month and ran up to about $35. You also had to pay for installation and extra for special events like concerts and boxing matches, and for adult programming, of course. With that in mind, it wasn't
Okay. Okay, to make my viewers subscription go up a few percent. Okay, that should make my viewer temperature go up 14%. Especially when he sees what I just did for him, he will be so surprised to find out that his number is going to go whoop by 1. Instead of having how many subscribers he did have, now he has an extra subscriber to go about like I do. Well, I mean, whoever's on the channel, they get to do what they want to be.
carriers to run into legal issues and frequent complaints.
I just make my people happy.
Specifically for parents who catch their kids watching R-rated movies or more frequently porn. Often through
I
the
think he's a nobody, but now he's a somebody.
On a related
Because I give to
note,
my
TV's Fort Lauderdale, Florida branch was known to air hardcore pornography during the overnight hours as part of.
I'll stick with the anime. Thank you. I'll stick with my anime. Thank you very much. Besides, if I watch anime, it's mostly blood and gore, anyways. I'll stick with the blood and gore anime I used to watch. That's alright. It's on Funimation.
The average non-paying viewer could not clearly see and hear the offending program. It was legal in the eyes of the government.
Government's weird. It's like I don't watch porn. I prefer the anime.
And the cable saga marches on and on and on. After 19 years, do you have people? How long will you wait, Sacramento? Well, wait no longer. Get Select TV in your home now. See over 70 different.
Telefirst was the worst ever cable network, I think. I mean, I looked up some stuff like Ben did recently on this subject, and the worst TV station ever was Telefirst because that thing sucked. Because, come on, one, you don't change your box every 5 minutes. They did. I always change once a day. Once a month, I change it. I once a week, change the code.
Piracy issues and trying to cool Hollywood's fears about this whole home video thing to boot. This led to easily the worst pay TV service of them all.
Telefirst
I'm talking
sucked.
about Telefirst.
I know that sucks.
Only running in Chicago, surprise, surprise, from January 17th until June 30th.
I need to write something in here.
6 nights a week after local ABC affiliate WLS signed off, a, shall we say, more complex edition of On TV or Spectrum, etc.
Were you on? Looks like you're on crack cocaine when you did with Telefirst footage. Fuzzy Memories does it. Ben did it, so yeah.
Telefirst would air 1 or 2 recent movies and some miscellaneous lifestyle programs. The idea being that you'd record them on your VCR for subsequent viewing. Well, Hollywood, which still hadn't quite warmed up to the video rental industry, wanted a safeguard. Dirty Scrambler box, imagine that, another one, would act as a link to your VCR, meaning the encrypted signal would pass onto your Betamax or VHS or Telefunken TED or whatever.
Actually, I wouldn't actually seen one of those, actually. A Telefunken TED? I wouldn't actually seen one of those. They're pretty cool to see Telefunken TED.
You could no longer watch your tapes. Unless, that is, you'd figure out a way around it.
Actually, I think Telefunken TED would be pretty interesting to see.
2 VCRs and an RF box. Nah, I'll just rent the movie.
I can get an RF box pretty easily. The thing is, these days you can actually get RF boxes pretty cheaply.
First programming was always scrambled. The descrambler box was meant as a decoder for your VCR. So if you happen to be up late at night and ready to watch your movie live over the air,
you couldn't.
It was totally dependent on your tapes. Also, I hope you were prepared to do a little fine-tuning on your descrambler box, preferably every time. Or you could try and do it in the precious few minutes before launch that Telefirst wasn't scrambled.
It was an ABC 7.
People didn't want to stay up all night to
which actually, if you live around here, you can actually pick it up. If you have if you live in you live down Niles, Michigan area, you have cable. It's channel 7.
Telefirst tended not to show movies.
Or you watch local ABC 57 down here.
Would be box office bombs.
Psycho 2. Psycho 2.
Oh yeah, and another problem.
Daily Force.
If you didn't record several minutes of extra footage on both.
Dr. Detroit! My mom loved that movie. My mom actually owns that movie. Dr. Detroit! Never seen it.
I got another one. Say you want to rewind or fast forward to another point in your recording. Oh, I hope you're prepared to wait an extra 60 seconds for the descrambler to catch up with itself. And sit through a scrambled feed of your show while you wait, most likely missing the part you were looking for to begin with. And for the proverbial cherry on top, remember how I mentioned that they pad their airtime with miscellaneous stuff? Since Telefirst usually could only fit in one movie per night, when they bothered to do so, that is, you'd find yourself saddled with lots of odds
on TV was better, I heard.
Bad foreign cooking shows. So, tell me true. Would you want to pay the not-so-low price of $25.95 a month plus tape costs for what, in the end, amounted to this?
I can get cheap cable for like $30. I mean, I'm paying now and I used to, but I used to pay $30 for my cable a month with Charter. Now I have Xfinity, which costs a little bit more, but still, Charter for $30 is better than nothing. I don't know. You can watch HBO scramble for better footage than this. Courtesy of Fuzzy Memories TV.
Why did this catch on?
Because it was stupid.
Well, did I mention that your $25.95 a month
Dr. Detroit
4 movies for the entire month? That you had to pick an advance?
Tomb Raider? Never seen it.
Really? Would you believe that ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, that is, was the one that
you'll hate it. It says you love it, and he crossed out love to hate it.
This service was successful. They intended to go national. Cocaine was one hell of a drug.
Yes, it was. Cocaine was a crazy drug.
The only thing I can think of to make someone believe that this was somehow a practical idea. Well, if there was one thing in all this that I can believe in, it's that only about 4,000 people ever subscribed to Telefirst.
And I'm not one of the 4,000 people that did it.
That does it for today's archive. Join us next time when we discuss why the 8-track deserved better.
I agree with you there.
Section under control. Think of your heart as the drums, your breathing as the bass. It's time.
Yep. I hated that damn thing. I hate that damn thing. But mine was a fully skinned one, not a. Remember that? That thing was hell. That thing scared the living crap out of me back in the 90s when it came out. That scared the living crap out of me when I saw that thing. Scared the living crap out of me. That fucking tree. So everybody calls me that tree scared the fuck out of me.
Amphetamines are good and good for you.
Crap goes the weasel. What are you drinking? What were you drinking?
So the monkey and the weasel were lovers? Does that mean the pop was a metaphor? Bad touch.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it because this is hilarious. Ben's hilarious with his videos. Most of the videos he do are hilarious as hell. Oh, it's an episode.
An ever so slight allusion to my filming equipment there, or lack thereof. This footage is from NBC affiliate KDLT in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, dating to 1993, or at least the tape does. I don't know about the footage itself. Doesn't suit any great purpose, but I like it anyway. Sets the mood.
Pretty good.
And it's Ben again from the Oddity Archive.
You did a good job, Ben.
And today we're going to discuss the regular episode of the Archive, the TV sign-offs episode
3.
Which, dare I say, is one of my favorite episodes.
Mine too.
The circumstances under which it was made were not so great. Towards the end of the making of the previous episode, the emergency broadcast salute, I got into a car wreck. Somebody ran the light and right into me, totaled my car, and I wasn't terribly injured, but I was bruised up a bit. And I'm surprised this episode came out as well as it did on the narration front, because I remember just kind of hunching over and clutching my sternum in pain making this, or as close as you can get to clutching your own sternum.
I know what he means. I wish I could make the person that smashed into him a piece of my mind.
This episode marks the introduction of the brief filmed intro, usually with the cardboard box with the picture of some celebrity.
Wow, been on for an hour? Wow.
And I'm not sure why I did Tom Cruise there.
Tom Cruise is cool.
Trying to convince somebody I was cute or something. But after a while, they started to have more to do with the actual show. Or I do an album cover. It just depends on the topic.
Yeah.
Occurrences. Let's discuss that long-lost late night. I think the injury in part led to this episode having a much different flavor than the first two episodes. Not that it wasn't already going to have kind of a different tone to it. I mean, it's sign-offs, it's late night, you're supposed to be tired, and it's supposed to be a little more low-key.
But
the injury made it even more so. And it wound up being in direct contrast to the first two episodes, which were a lot more energetic and kind of spastic. And the unintentional upshot of that was that not only did it work for this episode, but I wound up really liking it, and I decided to just kind of run with it. I mean, maybe not quite as low-key as this, but to keep going with that because it just felt more natural and it felt more intimate, and I think that works for the Archive.
The day of broadcasting here.
But I do remember this footage from WCBS in New York. I got a lot of mileage out of that. The template, in fact, for the sign-off sketch later in this episode. And to the best of my knowledge, it is the oldest surviving off-air recording of a sign-off, a complete sign-off.
Wow.
And it dates to 1977. I want to say July, but I don't know if that's right, and I really don't have any great way of confirming that. But it's this...
Turn around, go now, forever.
Ramshackle view. You got mics on when they're not supposed to be, things cut off, and slides up at some points. But it's actually really charming, and I really enjoyed watching it. And it's on YouTube, WCBS sign-off, 1977. It's a nice little view. And the quality's wonderful to boot. But the constant into the 90s was that there's a lot of times when I'm making the Archive that I just want to go back in time and kick my younger self's butt for not saving certain things, not recording certain things. Like during this episode, I just wanted to go back and kick my younger self's butt for not thinking to capture some of these sign-offs and stuff. But I was a kid at the time, so what the hell did I know?
There's a lot
this
of
little
those.
sequence here is the only thing in the episode that I just really don't care for. It's like, oh, I gotta be funny. But it wound up just being really out of step with the rest of the episode. Remember how sometimes stations, the main concern I had when I was writing this episode was that there really isn't a whole lot to discuss about sign-offs. I mean, it's just this big ceremonious thing. You got your prayer, you got the national anthem, and news and so forth. And I went over it for the benefit of those that maybe didn't remember it or just flat out weren't familiar with it.
Makes sense.
But that was a problem I remember. This footage here is from the now infamous National Anthem conspiracy theory clip. That's actually the doctored print. This is from WFAA in Fort Worth, Texas. It's just that scenic bit. And there's a brief station ID in there too. And it's from the station itself. And I think it dates to about 1972. It's a decent watch. Enjoy. KLAK was supposedly the first radio station in Colorado, but that I don't think that's true at all. The other meaning to that is it spells clack, ooh hee hee, how funny. And then channel 13 is supposed to be unlucky number 13, Now I could have gone the other way with that. Channel 69, hee hee, 69, sex. But the stations that usually did the really big sign-offs were the VHF stations, channels 2 through 13. So 69 and UHF would have made it kind of inaccurate. Now, these little PSAs here are really my first attempts at anything even remotely resembling filmmaking. And a little bit of...
And I've been on WZZM 13 before. It was fun. Here on cable is channel 15. It's channel 13, but for cable it's channel 15, which is weird because the ABC affiliate.
I didn't think enough to turn off the damn autofocus, but I didn't know.
Actually, I pictured me on channel 13.
This shot was a hard one because I wanted to do a little nod to the crying Indian PSA from the 70s, but I can't just cry on cue, so I had an eyedropper and some water, and I was just holding the camera out in front of my face and just hoping to God that it would run down my cheek in some sort of realistic way.
I looked up there.
And we've got the editorial reply with the stupid evil boss here. That was kind of an attempt to make the episode a little more accessible, a little more relatable, because I think everybody's had that real jerk of a boss, that boss who thinks he's the greatest, but is just a freaking moron.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have a boss like that. That boss was called Sandy Reed. She got fired, which I'm happy, so I'm going back to college. I'm going back to work, maybe.
I wanted it to be pretty dynamic.
And
I wanted the gunshot that takes down the stupid boss at the end to really jump out and grab the audience. But it came at the expense of other parts, like at the end where I'm mumbling, and they want to bring back the fairness doctrine. I think that got lost in the cracks because I just had to have that nice little spike there, and I wasn't thinking about how is the average person going to hear this. This isn't classical music here. It's not about dynamics, really. I mean, I'll still do some stuff dynamically if it really calls for it. But, the bottom line is people are watching on their laptops and on their smartphones and iPads and stuff, and they might be watching in noisy situations, and the speakers to these things usually have no power. The headphone jacks usually don't have much power, so you just gotta
You're wrong now, Ben.
Make it a little
This is older, so that's why.
Flat and, unfortunately a bit louder.
I mean, Ben does some pretty good stuff. I like his stuff.
Final news here, the bit about the wildfires burning, that was straight from the headlines at the time. There were a bunch of wildfires burning here in Colorado at the time. And one of them, I think, actually got into Colorado Springs. I remember it was pretty bad there. It's quoted to have said, "Holy expletive, you're on your own. Holy expletive, you're on your own." I'd really hope the president wouldn't say that. Sports, Sharapova took a ball to the nose. She took a ball to the nose. Oh, I'm so clever. In weather. Hot, windy, and dry, which is precisely what it was in late June of 2012 when I made this.
Okay.
Give Us This Day. This is a straight rip-off of part of the WCBS sign-off. And this is where I started introducing the idea of, well, before I get to that, this footage here is from a meditation segment from WDVM in Washington, D.C. from 1980 or 81. But this is the point where I started adding a lot of jokes. See, it keeps breaking up, and the pastor's name is misspelled, and this is where I wanted to start putting in the idea that this is not exactly a great station. It's run by some not so bright people.
Hello, YouTube family.
Not
It's
so professional people.
over here with me, my brother.
And I had a lot of fun with that because I was able to just keep building the gag, and I think it's
Shut
really
up,
well.
you Dooney. Okay, so
This bit here marks the first use of the now infamous Lady Blue music, Lady Blue by Leon Russell. This is from a Muzak LP that dates to, I think, 1976. Leon's original version dates to 75. The footage here that you're seeing is from KTBS in Shreveport, Louisiana from 1975.
What's that bad?
It's from a quad tape from the station itself. And it's it just looks like, you know, somebody's home movies when you're looking at it like this. But when you see it in its own original context, before I get to that, the television code out of practice since 1982 is accurate.
Yeah.
This is also a little takeoff on when they air their legal warnings on the sign-offs. Sometimes they put them down in text here. And of course, it just goes completely off the rails.
Yep, I hate that little shit.
But anyway, this footage.
Well, Treasure Channel still go off the air a
when
week.
you put the original music back in it, which is an American trilogy by Mickey Newberry, it becomes this very unsettling view. If you've ever heard that song, especially by way of Newberry himself, it's actually three old Civil War tunes tied together. You got one from the South's point of view, one from the North's point of view, and one from the slaves' point of view. And it's this very eerie tune, and it's got this string section to it. It might be a synthesizer, but I think it's actually strings that somebody went back and screwed with distortion in post-production. And it's just this really creepy listen. It's also worth seeing, and it's on YouTube as well. And we've got the Star Spangled Banner here. That's the only public domain one I could find. And I messed up by making it widescreen. It's not supposed to be widescreen. But the joke was they didn't bother to rewind it last time, and now they're playing it again. And, well, now, of course, it's upside down and backwards. This here is actually unused 8mm film stock, but I wanted it to look like you got to know that the projector's still there, so even though it's inaccurate, it seemed like the best visual clue I could put in there.
I think that's pretty funny, though, what actually happened.
Not every station that signed off would go to the color bars or static. Sometimes you'd find stations that would air their own painfully. Oh, yes, Night Owl.
That was pretty neat.
I think I'm going to have to do a segment in an episode about it. I don't think I can do a whole episode about it, but the Keyfax News Service has some pretty interesting stories to it. This here is from 1978 on the Jericho, New York Cablevision service. It's from a bit called Cable Chuckles, which aired after sign-off. And it seems to be the only post-sign-off show geared towards children, so I don't know if they were trying to encourage kids to stay up late, or they just assumed that kids had their own VCRs in 1978. But it's kind of weird to watch. It's got all these viewer-submitted jokes, hence the name Cable Chuckles. But what's really funny is that it's got the kids' addresses and stuff in there, and I'm just thinking, oh, that's so wrong. I guess you could still get away with that in 1978. And this last sequence here with the NASA footage and lonely people. When I was researching this episode, I kept finding requests online for an old sign-off clip that featured Lonely People by America. And I thought, well, that sounds really good. I'd like to see that. I think it's a good song. I went looking for it, and I searched high and low for it. Couldn't find it anywhere. And it just got to the point where it felt like, well, this is a good idea. Maybe I should just take my own crack at it. I've never seen it. It was before my time, but, somebody's got to do it. And what happened was, after this episode came out, I posted the clip on YouTube. I got all these comments about, well, this isn't accurate. And I'm thinking, well, this was before my time. I even prefaced it by saying, this was before my time. I've never seen it. This is just my best guess.
They did pretty good that video, I think.
I think it turned out fairly well anyway.
Turned out better than the crap I make.
And the last thing before I go here, in the stinger, I really wanted to throw in something from one of the audio-only news briefs, just because sometimes the news items would be just so stupid and pointless. I thought, well, I've got to have this somewhere, Okay, well, that's it. This is Ben from the archive signing off. I'll see you next time.
But Ben does some pretty good stuff, guys.
Hey, review clown, listening to me? You don't honestly want all of us to go, are you the ghost of Christmas past? If so, I'm more than happy to comply. Isn't there enough war and the murder, death, kill out there so that most of us,
Okay, guys, I'll be back in a second.
All right, that does it for today's archive. Join us next year for more oddball crap that only I would ever talk about. Yes! No your show.
Don't watch that crap back in it, guys. Okay, sure. I'll do that crap. Here we go. Night towel. This is a night towel. This is what Ben wanted to show us. Or night owl. I don't know what this is, but this is something I know that. Yeah, night towel. Yep, this is night owl. Or Keith Bats, I'm gonna call it. Which is pretty cool. I thought this is pretty neat because it's an old video. They don't do this anymore because the company that used to do this is gone. You're watching W Channel 14. 3 hours Sturgis. 3 hours Sturgis, Coldwater. That'd be funny if I went on a TV station. Alright, as I said. Now I say, you're watching TV W. I say, if that was true. You're watching W. You're watching TV station W. 3 hours Sturgis, Kalamazoo. You know what I say? Say 3 hours Sturgis and air station, say. 3 hours Sturgis, Cassopolis. Those are county TV. So you're watching WTV, serving 3 hours in Sturgis. In parts of Kalamazoo. They're probably serving the area for now for over years. I mean, kind of September, I have to think what I'm going to do for the 3-year anniversary. I mean, yeah, I could do that too.
And welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show that brings back all those childhood memories that you never knew you had.
I mean, 2010 was...
Remember back on the first sign-offs episode when we briefly touched on some post-sign-off teletext programming before I was so rudely cut off by our producer? Well, After a slight shakeup at Oddity Archive headquarters, now we can crack this little egg wide open and properly discuss the long-forgotten
It owns
art of
41% of the company.
It's history lesson time.
Yay!
In the analog days of television, there was a certain unused portion of the video signal known as the vertical blanking interval.
You know, these the work
These
constantly.
came in the form of little gaps that would last such a short time, literally thousands of a second, that nobody would ever detect them. Now, as far back as the late 60s, some electronics engineers were already mulling over just what, if anything, could be achieved in those gaps. Over time, we found some uses for them.
Captions.
They included closed captioning and the ever-loved Macrovision copy protection software used on a lot of VHS and DVD titles, which essentially operated on the same principle as the early pay TVD scrambler boxes.
I'm gonna make a new trailer later.
Frequency, or pulses in this case, to your target and kiss your picture goodbye. But I digress. In 1972, over in England, some computer engineers came up with an idea for use of these signal gaps and came up with an early interactive television service called CFAX, which was projected to cost about £70.
I need to make a new one because that one I have right now is outdated.
You'd have a little dedicated remote control.
And the thing is, I don't know what kind of tune I'm going to use.
And on this remote, you'd punch in a 3-digit code and an on-screen.
We'll keep our picture. The picture we have there, we're keeping. Another picture, but we're going to do logo. New picture opening. We're going to do opening into the channel. That's what I mean.
The BBC opted to pick
BBC
up a non-interactive edition of the CFAX service to air over the air in the overnight post sign-off hours, offering a continuous loop of news, weather, sports, and miscellanea. CFAX lasted all the way up to October of 2012.
Wow, that's long.
This brings us back around to the States and the American equivalent to CFAX,
Go ahead.
KeyFax. KeyFax was home to America's first computer-generated TV program, the teletext news magazine Night Owl. Not to be confused with Night Towel. I own the copyrights to that.
If I own a TV station, I would do that too.
WFLD for roughly a year, starting in
Fox
September
32.
1981. Night Owl was like a more elaborate cable TV community calendar, just with news. Shortly thereafter, cable superstation WTBS, or simply TBS, started running KeyFax news in the overnight hours. This lasted a bit longer than Night Owl, running from 1981 to 1984. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to find any footage, so in one of our classic archive ironic twists, we're forced to use footage exclusively from the local edition of KeyFax. Night Owl has a certain charm to it.
I need to delete two things real quick, guys. But I'm staying on, guys. I'm not going off. I'm staying on until I want to go off. I might stay on for 6 hours. The longest video.
And for a music geek like myself, the music choices are generally enjoyable and surprisingly eclectic.
Gotta refix something here, so let me fix it real quick here.
If you'll indulge me for a little while here,
Remove.
I'd like to discuss what became of KeyFax. In April of 1982, about halfway
Remove.
through Night Owl's run, the Keycom Electronic Publishing Corporation was formed. The idea was to launch an interactive television service similar to the one CFAX over in England had envisioned a decade earlier, and indeed was finally getting ready to launch in the UK. In November of 1982, KeyFax attempted the old 1972 British-style remote control-based service. It ran $20 a month, $10 for the service, and $10 for the necessary decoder box. Yes, we at the archive have unearthed yet another decoder box.
Another decoder box? Oh, crap.
Anyway, there was one little problem.
I'm not going to
CFAX owned the technology, and KeyFax didn't have all the needed licenses. This caused the service to be unusable for about another year until all the licensing issues were worked out. After everything was cleared up, this edition of KeyFax peaked at about 30,000 subscribers. This was in early 1984.
How am I having that?
This edition of the service was discontinued shortly thereafter. But by this point, KeyFax, unfazed, had something even bigger in mind. Now the vision that KeyFax had was to introduce a service in which you could not only access news and stuff, but also download games or shop online. Pretty exciting stuff for 1984. Not that we had many options quite yet. Unfortunately, this was effectively a forerunner to another interactive TV failure, web TV.
So,
I'm actually right now working in progress right now for something for.
Anyway,
There's also a new channel I'm going to be getting on my channel soon, guys. That
package for your home
there'll be a new person. I'm actually working on something for a local store here in town.
have another adapter.
I was going to help them with some work later on these guys. So, in a future date, we're going to be maybe helping them out. We're doing more work for them than anything else.
Cell phone, a very pricey data plan.
What's right now?
You'd be allowed either 5 hours use per month for $15 or 15 hours use for $30. Like all seemingly half-assed TV-related ideas in the first half of the 1980s, this edition of KeyFacts launched in where all these technologies.
Chicago, Illinois.
It meant to
Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago. I swear, I have this mental image of some poor Chicagoan guy with all these useless gadgets who's on the brink of bankruptcy because of it. But I digress. Again. Launched in November of 1984.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna work on some real quick here on camera. I need to get some stuff done with, which I promised a friend of mine. He wants to start a YouTube channel for the business he works at. So I told him I'll do what I can, but I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna do it now, so don't forget. I'm gonna work on it for them right now, so don't forget. I'm going to make a card up or something. And let's see here. Since we're on, guys, I'm just going to do some work right now on camera, which I don't tell you what we're doing. Yeah.
KeyFacts lets you turn information into action. KeyFacts gives you shopping, banking, tickets, reservations, stock quotes, and much more. Get into action, Chicago. Call 1-800-4KeyFacts for a free demonstration.
Triple Creek.
Chances are that if you have cable, you still have
found a couple locations for Triple Creek near
maybe some
you.
sort of newswire service, and you probably don't pay any attention to it, which is why I'm talking about it, of course. These billboards have been around about as long as cable itself, but back in the 70s and 80s, they were used more as overnight filler. Now, call me pretentious. What, no soundbite? I have a soft spot for these things. Sure, today's boards are a little more pleasing to look at than the old teletext-styled block graphics, but I still prefer the old-style graphics to the prettier new ones. This first clip here is, as of this episode, the oldest known surviving home recording of one of these billboards, dating to late November of 1977. From Puget Sound, Washington's ever-imaginatively named service, Cable TV Puget Sound, this would also have to be one of the earliest uses of a teletext news service in the U.S. The NOAA weather radio playing in the background is a nice touch as well.
Key disappointment. One rain fog, southwest 25, swell 5.
That doesn't sound Peter either.
This clip is from a Reuters news feed airing on Manhattan Cable in New York, which dates to what I believe to be late December of 1977. With regards to the radio station playing in the background, I don't understand a word of Greek, but if I did, I'd imagine I'd have a tough time following the Greek radio broadcast from New York's WEVD-FM 97.9, while also trying to read the English news feed. It also makes me wonder, were the only people with cable in Manhattan in 1977 Greek immigrants?
I can't read Greek either. I can read a little Greek. I understand a little Greek, guys, but not a lot. Like, I do like Good Ben. Hard to do.
This is from Jericho, New York, dating to October of 1978.
Jericho's a TV station. Wasn't Jericho a TV show on CBS at one time?
The only overnight programming for kids in existence that I know of. You have the viewer-submitted jokes.
I never use the kid's name, the age, but not where they live.
And you have games, and of course, the school lunch menu. And yet another local radio station playing in the background to boot. In this case, in all Beatles format.
It's not bad.
I guess I could call that a step.
Step in a second, guys.
This clip gets even better than that. This particular clip aired immediately after a showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Did I mention that this channel, when on the air, called itself a family movie channel?
This is Cablevision's Family Channel 10, your address for premier entertainment, motion pictures from Hollywood Heyday.
I love it when I don't have to write any jokes. By the time the late 80s rolled around, the electronic program guide channels were a staple of cable TV. First up, we've got this one from Naperville, Illinois, from October of 1987. I like that somebody deems the home shopping channel to be worthy of a highlight. The song playing in the background also seems weirdly appropriate.
Guys, I'm working on something right now for someone else now that I'm going to do it.
Later, we see that the guide has shifted gears from being just a straight list
Store.
of channels and now includes show
Store.
descriptions and ads. As you can see, these channels
I
also
found a few
provide
stores near
definitive
you.
proof that computer techs are completely
Cancel.
lost without spell check. There's supposed to be 2 O's and 2. Jeez.
Okay, guys. I'm working on something for a friend right now because he wants me to start a YouTube channel for him. I own it! So technically, I own the video portion of this too.
The outdated programming info from a day or two earlier. At 11 o'clock in the morning. Live. Over the air. At least this guy understands that the Rolling Stones are indeed terrifying. This particular screen sticks for literally about 5 minutes. Perhaps this guy was having some artistic issue with this ad, or he just really digs Dolly Parton and stopped to listen.
Hey guys, I'm still on, guys. It's just that I have to be done with for certain dates. Because he wants to launch a certain day. I want to get done with it now, so I can launch it for him off the bat.
Can't say I'd be any different.
And technically, according to what it sounds like, I'm going to own the copyright to this thing, so yeah, there now.
Around this time, the larger cable companies had developed the best remembered of the electronic program guides, namely the Preview Guide. This channel was created with the help of the Commodore Amiga. I'll let you decide if that's a good or a bad thing. Anyway, sometimes it felt like the Preview Guide was the perfect storm of technical glitches and sheer incompetence. For example, are you familiar with the Guru meditation?
Oh.
This was the Amiga's equivalent to the blue screen of death, or if you're a Mac user, the pinwheel of doom.
I hated that.
It was
Back in a minute. The Commodore Amiga was a good computer, I think.
Notices and advertisements were a big part of some editions of the Preview Guide. Having said that, I'd imagine a few English teachers just cried over this one. Also, if you don't like being preached to, I wouldn't recommend watching the Preview Guide while in the Bible Belt. He was delicious.
Hey, listen, guys.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of the Oddity Archive. Join us next time when we discuss just whatever became of the TV stations that used to air the static.
Okay, guys, I'm back now. I just finished this paperwork for a friend. So we're almost done. They're going to be on live. They're going to be having their own YouTube channel uploaded soon.
At Creative Cabinets in Santa Mauritius and Santa Rita, and Eddie D's hairstylist on Middle Country Road in Santa Rita.
It's a prison now, I bet. Okay, guys, so we're done doing that now. I'm going to...
Let's enjoy an intermission. You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink. Tasty, tempting hot dogs, thirst-quenching soft drinks, fresh, crunchy popcorn. A complete assortment of delicious candy, and a full line of cigarettes. You've plenty of time, so visit the snack bar now. A tasty treat will double your enjoyment of the show.
Not watching this again. They slapped your Bix or your pipe.
And
I think that was an alright show, but yeah, intermission's alright. So I'm gonna get this set up so they'll have it.
buying a car from Vroom is so easy. All you
Is
need
upload.
is a phone and a finger. Just scroll through amazing.
That sounds just like car comma.
Tap to buy. That's it. No sales fee, no wasted time.
I'll stick with Credit Karma or something like that place called Carvana, what they call it these days. I actually go to Carvana actually to see that, because Vroom doesn't sound something like I would want to do. I'd do Carvana. That sounds cooler, because I have seen 2 Carvanas already in my area before. Where did I saw one dropping off a Dodge Charger last winter. It was last winter. Last March or last year, like 2018, I saw a Carvana dropping off a Dodge Charger in the snow. I also saw a car leaving with the car on, no car. So that was kind of cool. But besides that, not really, no. So I finished this up, then I could get uploaded with a new channel.
Get the Oddity Archive.
I gotta get some paperwork done real quick. Then we can double copy this.
Guaranteed for your money back. This is gonna be a hard show.
So let me get this up, guys, and then who knows?
Really hard show.
One subscriber.
Based on a viewer's suggestion, the initial idea was going to be to look into a freak weather occurrence that briefly got British TV onto American shores. And I don't mean imported programming, I mean the actual British signal made it all the way to New York briefly in late 1938, which led to questions like, they had TV already in 1938? That led to a bunch of other discoveries, and finally to the realization that we talk a lot about TV around here, but not necessarily the history.
I don't want to say.
And so today we discuss television prehistory, or prehistoric television, to be cute. Now, I have no scientific background or skill, which makes it a lot harder for me to discuss this. And if that's not enough, when we're not dealing with the science, we're dealing with the Nazis. You heard me. Stick with me, gang. Nearly this entire episode is going to consist of our all-time most difficult history lesson. In the 1840s, Scottish inventor Alexander Bain came up with a distant forerunner to the fax machine. In this case, allowing images to be transmitted telegraphically, pulse-based. It was a piece of crap, but significant nonetheless. In the 1880s, German inventor Paul Nipkow came up with a disc-based system. Well, the disc would be a piece of metal or cardboard, just something reasonably sturdy. On the, for example, metal disc, there were a series of, say, 30 strategically placed holes going around the disc. Each one of these holes represents a line, as in a line of image resolution. When the disc would rotate at, say, 750 RPMs, it created the illusion of an image being very quickly drawn out, line by line. In this case, we are looking at 30 lines of vertical resolution. Nipkow gave up on his idea rather quickly, but in the 1920s, thanks to the rise of the radio, there was this sudden belated race to perfect Nipkow's idea, now known as the mechanical television. In 1925, American inventor Charles Francis Jenkins publicly demonstrated his version of the mechanical television, this time with picture and sound. But the best and longest-lasting variation of this invention was by the design of Scottish inventor John Logie Baird. Baird demonstrated his television in January of 1926. This version had a bandwidth of 30 lines. Baird's system of transmission was based around a film intermediate. In other words, the program would be properly filmed on top of a transmitter truck. The unprocessed film would then run down into the, by necessity, dark truck, be immediately processed, then scanned by a flying spot scanner, Remember the
Gender.
Nipco disc concept? Kind of like that. And finally transmitted via cable. What a pain in the
Brother
ass.
say. Next.
Speaking of a pain in the ass, photocells in those days were woefully weak. It was these photocells that were the main part of the image scanning process. As a result, no light could be any stronger than what the photocells gave off, meaning that if the film intermediate system was not used, which it often wasn't, the show had to be done in near total darkness. Plus, the poor definition of the final picture forced performers to wear the most utterly bizarre makeup you've ever seen. Otherwise, they'd just be a blob on the quote-unquote screen. The BBC adopted the 30-line Baird broadcast standard in 1934, becoming the first significant TV broadcasters. And while Baird continually improved on the image resolution of its television, and photocell technology was finally coming up to par as well, the invention of the electronic television squashed Baird's systems by 1937. Unfortunately, the film intermediate system was rarely used, and all the film footage shot by the BBC during this time period was melted down during World War II to recover the silver. And now it's time for things you can do with magnetic tape. These days, with all the hipster talk about the return of the audio cassette, I think it might be a good idea to give a little rundown of less obvious uses for the stuff, as it pertains to video. In the mid-1970s in Australia, there was a small group of engineering students that devised a method of capturing Baird-style 32-line narrowband images with 2-track open-reel audio tape. In a dark room with the help of a homebrew cathode ray tube-based flying spot scanner, these guys were able to record image and sound onto audio tape. One track for audio, the other for video. Once recorded, the data would be fed into an oscilloscope or a homemade Nipco disc for playback. For what it's worth, narrowband TV can also be broadcast via shortwave radio. In 1987, toy manufacturer Fisher-Price introduced the PXL 2000. The PXL 2000 recorded picture and sound onto standard audio cassettes. The image and sound were captured by running the tape at around 16 inches per second, about 9 times faster than the 1 7/8 inches per second usually used for standard audio cassettes. This is because anything slower would be too prone to dropouts. Other than that, this toy was fairly similar to the Australian open reel system. Lastly, Commodore 64 users could download their computer data, including video games, onto audio cassettes. This was done with the help of the dataset peripheral. The dataset would capture data as audio, which you could feed back into the computer to retrieve your files. If you play it as standard audio, it sounds a bit like an old dial-up modem. Thank you for joining us for today's Things You Can Do with Magnetic Tape. Let's talk about a certain unintended consequence of this newfangled television thing. In the all-time least shocking turn of events, that propaganda machine known as the Nazi Party, some party, readily embraced the idea of television as a means of alternately distracting and indoctrinating the German people prior to and during World War II. The Paul Nipko television station was introduced in public viewing rooms during the Third Reich, and it's a doozy. For the record, Paul Nipko, though still alive and living in Germany during World War II, had no involvement with the TV network that bore his name. It was just named after him, probably because of his status as a German television pioneer. In spite of German television being electronic as opposed to mechanical, the Nazis almost always used the Baird film intermediate system. The upshot of this is that the filmed footage, which was put into storage after airing, remains the most plentiful source of 1930s television. Now, it was hard to decide whether or not I actually wanted to use some of this footage. I really don't like giving a platform to what is by and large Nazi propaganda. But I also believe in history and learning from the successes and especially the failures of the past. So here are a few brief, unaccompanied excerpts from the Paul Nipkow television station.
Um mal wieder über die Musik zu sprechen. Ich freue mich eigentlich, dass es heute alles so wunderbar im Takt geht, nicht wahr? Wenn es auch hier und da immer noch so etliche Querpfeifer bei uns gibt. Und vielleicht auch mal solche, die gerne mal wieder die Zentrummel rühren möchten. Sogenannte Devisenmusikanten, nicht wahr? Da machen wir wenig Federleben. Die kommen zu ihrer weiteren Ausbildung in ein Konzertlager, wo man ihnen dann so lange die Flötentöne beibringt, bis sie sich an eine taktvolle Mitarbeit gewöhnen.
Hier habe ich noch einen Tasterzirkel, womit die Schädelmaße aufgenommen wird.
Angelika.
Und wie alt bist du?
30 Jahre.
30, danke schön. Stell dich mal bitte so rum und die Hacken zusammen.
Little this and that.
Die Jochbreite. 12,4.
Frohsinn und Wille meistert das Schicksal. Das ist die Losung unserer schweren Kriegsbeschädigten. Hirten durchlaufen eine Hindernisbahn, 100 Meter lang, mit schweren Hindernissen. Im Anfang ein Irrgarten, der schnelles Reaktionsvermögen verlangt. Dem Sprung gehört Mut. Wehe, wer hier hängen bleibt. Wie die Wiesel.
Ich weiß, geht doch ganz nett.
Ja, fabelhaft.
Das hätte ich mir nie träumen lassen, als ich schwer verwundet in Russland lag, dass ich noch einmal tanzen würde.
Haben Sie früher sehr gern getan?
Nein, ich habe noch nie getanzt. Ich habe es jetzt erst als Amputierte gelernt.
Sie haben doch beide Beine amputiert.
Ja.
Doch macht es nicht toll.
Ja, das Leben ist doch schön.
As we all know, World War II left Germany divided for another 44 years. During this time, East German television thrived. You know, that cultural beacon formerly known as East Germany. In late November of 1938, due to some freak weather and atmospheric conditions that I can't even begin to comprehend, some of the BBC's programming was somehow picked up in New York. Some RCA engineers who were working to develop a viable television to market in the US were playing around with an imported British Marconi TV set. Excited by this reception, one of these guys found the nearest available movie camera and started filming. What's most remarkable about this footage is that this is the only surviving example of over-the-air pre-war TV and the only amateur TV footage taken prior to the 1950s. In 1941, the standard for television broadcasts in America were established. Almost immediately thereafter, the first proper, non-experimental FCC TV licenses were issued. The only TV stations in existence at this point were in New York City, Philadelphia, and Chicago. The only real scrap of early 40s TV ephemera that I could find is this TV guide for the New York NBC affiliate WNBT, now WNBC, dating to the summer of 1941, less than 6 months before the U.S. entered World War II. With regards to the free world, there is virtually no surviving footage of pre-kinescope TV. Kinescope being TV captured by the networks off of the special TV screen onto 16mm film. The kinescope was introduced in 1947, and there are a couple of documented works from this year, but I can't find them. clip from the pioneering kiddie show Howdy Doody dates to July 2nd, 1948, and is the earliest kinescope that I've been able to track down. Now, the bulk of surviving TV shows from 1947 to 1956 are on kinescopes. A precious few shows like I Love Lucy were properly filmed and stand as the exception to the rule. Though quadruplex, or quad, videotape was introduced in 1956, there are a few U.S. kinescopes dating into the 1960s, usually from smaller markets, as well as some international kinescopes dating into the 1970s. Well, there you have it. Prehistoric television. Do you feel nice and fossilized now? Does that even make sense? Anyway, join us next time on The Archive when we discuss whether or not the TV is actually watching you. Sweet dreams. But my personal favorite here is... One of the initial concepts of The Archive was that it would be this rather dry PBS-styled show, and that it would follow the same
Hi, my name's Tyler Milton, and you're watching the Triple Creek YouTube channel. Hi, my name's Tyler Milton, and you're watching the Triple Creek YouTube channel. Hi, my name's Tyler Milton, and you're watching the Triple Creek YouTube channel. So I gotta wake up tomorrow morning and tell them, hey, good news and bad news. So we hear first, good about the good. Good news is we're uploading. Bad news is we're not technically uploaded technically on you. Good news, we're on YouTube now. Be happy to hear it. Guess what? I did something for you, and you owe me big now. Well. Okay, guys, I'm just pissing someone off. It's done with. So yeah, Turtle Creek convenience store, guys. I live near. They told me to make a YouTube channel for them, which I did. It'll take a couple weeks for me to actually get everything situated over there, but it's pretty much ready to go. So I have to just type this up for them, and then yeah. So since we're done with this, I'm gonna stay on now and do something else right now and rewrite this up for them, the typewriter later. Which when I get paid to do something, I get paid. I can do it. So yeah.
Structure as a show on PBS, so it would always be sponsored by so and so. I dropped that after this episode, and I'm glad I did because I think in the long run it would have wound up becoming very restrictive.
So there we go. So yeah, I think it's done go, and I have to do.
And it's Ben again from the Oddity Archive, here to discuss the second episode of the show, the emergency broadcast salute.
I need to go quick tomorrow and give them the paperwork.
I think this is actually a pretty decent episode, in spite of the fact that I really don't think I'd quite hit my groove yet as a narrator, and I hadn't.
It's sort of ready, sort of not ready, but it's still in
structure for a show yet.
I'm still in post production, guys. So
I'd been kicking around the idea for so long that everything was pretty well crystallized by this point. No, that is not a real Conelrad pamphlet. I wish it was. That's just a picture of one I found on the internet, and I printed it out and cut it out. The Archive, the show that dares. With regards to the intros, this was definitely a transitional episode. I dropped the whole "your humble host" thing with the picture after this episode. But this was also the first episode where I did the whole "Welcome to the Oddity Archive," the show that fill in the blank. And of course, after this episode, I started doing the whole cardboard box with the picture thing on it, or maybe an album cover, just depending on the topic.
So I
had to throw something in from Duck and Cover here. I mean, it just wouldn't be a show about civil defense without it, now would it? Given the government's unintentional...
So I'm kind of working...
One of the things about the archive, at least in its earlier episodes, was it was kind of this opportunity to go back and confront things that scared me as a kid. And the emergency broadcast system was very high on that list. Of course, since then, I've tackled, clowns and sort of other just garden variety childhood fears. But I've had a lot of fun just going back as an adult and just tearing this stuff to ribbons. Any good red-blooded TV... Now, I have to admit, I totally missed out on the National Emergency Action Notification in November of 2011. I was at work that day. I had no idea it had happened. It wasn't until I went and started researching what would become this episode that I found out about it, and I found all these clips of it that geeks everywhere had dutifully recorded, and I'm glad they did because it proved to be just a gold mine. And a lot of times, of course, it was so ridiculous I didn't even have to write any jokes for it. Coming up here, we've got the DirecTV bit, which was a lot of fun. Here it is. First off, just the idea that Lady Gaga would be playing instead of the emergency message was great in and of itself, but then it just lent itself to more and more jokes. And then I found all those pictures of her, which was just stupidly easy to do. And then the commercial here that got preempted by the EAN, that's a load of crap. That is actually my own edit. That is not how it actually aired. This was on one of the cable news networks. But of course, I thought it would be a lot funnier if I could find something kind of ridiculous to throw in there. And those commercials for insurance is what it was. They were everywhere at the time, so it fit as well. And then here, I decided, obviously, to drop Lady Gaga's actual recording of Paparazzi because it would be so much better if you just heard me warbling my way through it. I mean, I think Paparazzi is a pretty stupid song to begin with, but I think that just made for the cherry on top, and I'm pretty proud of that sequence of silence. And a lucky few missed out on the EAS altogether. In Colorado, from whence this show came, on the morning of Wednesday. Now, I actually was around for that one on April 14th. I was really psyched for it, too, and I was all prepared to capture it and see what might or might not happen. And then it just never happened, and so I threw it into this episode, which might not have been the greatest idea, come to think of it, but it meant something to me at the time. And that edit there from the My Little Reminder commercial going into the EAS, that's another one of my just little joke edits. The EAS thing and the commercial were separate entities. I just tied them together. Such a happy thought. Established in, I have to give a big shout out to Conelrad here. Conelrad.com, that is, not the actual civil defense system that we had in the 50s, but the website, which is this great place for Cold War ephemera. And it was a huge, huge help making this episode. And they had all these great recordings and just all sorts of great stuff. And it made this part of the show that much better, I think. 40 AM. Doesn't matter which. And coming up here, we've got a lot of just little snippets from recordings made by celebrities for Conelrad. And I wish I could have used more, but I just don't think I could have fit it in without really screwing up the momentum of the show. But listening to them was just a lot of fun, and it was just really great having Connie.
Phone's was flat, so yeah. So I'm done, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you.
Survive a nuclear blast. I especially